Hello and welcome to the Oliver Oak Properties podcast. Today we have a special guest joining us, someone who has been playing a key role in shaping the future of Ras Al Khaimah. Mr. Tariq Bisharat, Chief Strategy and Business Development Officer in Ras Al Khaimah, a key member who's working on Ras Al Khaimah project. He is closely involved in the landmark collaboration with Wynn Marjan Island, which is bringing a world-class resort and entertainment to the region. Actually, I can't wait to dive into the exciting projects in Ras Al Khaimah. Welcome, Mr. Tariq.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Mr. Tariq, before we dive into the exciting projects in Ras Al Khaimah, can you please tell us more about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I've been in the UAE almost 16 years, 9 years with Marjan in the role that I am now. And Marjan is the master developer owned and controlled by the government of Ras Al Khaimah. Our flagship project is Al Marjan Island, which was originally reclaimed and launched, fully reclaimed in 2004, completed in 2010 in terms of reclamation. The infrastructure was finished in 2012, and the first hotels were operational in 2014.
Mr. Tariq, can you please tell us how Ras Al Khaimah's strategic location and size contributed in the rapid growth of this Emirates?
Sure. So, I think it's important by way of background. Ras Al Khaimah is approximately only 2.2% of the size of the entire United Arab Emirates. Okay. And it's located all the way in the north. Mm-hmm. And Ras Al Khaimah means, for people who don't know, as you know, Arab speaker, that you are, head of the tent or top of the tent. And that's due to basically the shape of the country. So Ras Al Khaimah is known for, and has been known for a long time, as a staycation market. We also have a lot of international tourists that come. Tourism became something strategic maybe 10, 12 years ago, where really the vision of His Highness to focus on reclamation of Al Marjan Island and to start developing this part of the business. Aside from that, there's a lot of manufacturing, we have quarries, we have ports, we do a lot of work in business and building materials, exporting, ceramics, one of the largest ceramics companies in the world. All of that was seeded here and generated and it's been going on for decades. Mm-hmm. I would say with Al Marjan Island, really we started diving into, the Emirate did, into tourism. And that became something that has taken a more and more important role in the GDP contributors to the Emirate. Okay. And I think that continues to be the focus.
Okay. Are we talking about only Al Marjan Island, or are we talking about the whole Ras Al Khaimah?
I'm talking about the whole Ras Al Khaimah. So Al Marjan Island is an asset that's within Ras Al Khaimah. Okay. And it's you can say our flagship hospitality leisure destination. Okay. Again, it's 2.7 square kilometers of reclaimed land. We're now announcing approximately 27,000 residential and hospitality units, rooms, and keys, hotel keys. And it's been quite the journey, I would say, since I joined 9 years ago.
Nice. Actually, I received this question from many people. Is Al Marjan Island a man-made island or it's a natural island? It's
a man-made island. And Al Marjan refers to the name, to the Arabic word coral. So the design is after corals that you would find in the ocean.
They say 1,000 miles start with the first step. Can you please tell me, how did this first step started?
So that's a very good question, and I get that question a lot. As I mentioned, tourism is something really strategic for the Emirate. Mm-hmm. And there was a target of reaching a certain milestone by 2030 in terms of visitors, day visitors, and more importantly, overnight visitors. Mm-hmm. I believe that number was set at 3 million overnight visitors. Okay. And currently, and over the last few years, we've been trending and have exceeded 1.2 million overnight visitors. Mm-hmm. But I think you're referring to the idea of the Wynn Resort and building an integrated resort and what that would look like. So Of all the ideas we studied, and especially our tourism department, or the Ras Al Khaimah Tourism and Development Authority, looked at what the impact would be of building a world-class integrated resort. And that's where I believe the idea started. And the impact of that is something tremendous. So if you study what happened in Singapore with the opening of Marina Bay Sands, if you study what's happened in Macau with the various resorts in Macau, and also the Bellagio in Las Vegas, you will see that every year that those opened, and I actually have these slides and I can share them with you, but if you look at those, you'll see huge jumps in visitorship.
Okay.
So when you look at those three markets and you look at the studies that we've done internally and RAC Tourism has done, and studies by Colliers and Ernst & Young, EY, you will see that we expect the numbers to jump dramatically. So we think we'll go from 1.2 million overnight visitors, what we had, I think, in 2023, to over 3 million in 2030, plus another few million of day visitors to 5 million. So theoretically, or we're hoping that we're basically going to quadruple, 400% growth of visitorship.
Okay.
And that enables us to reach our target. So that's kind of where the idea came from originally. And that's basically how we went about it. From that, we wanted to do something with a partner that has the ability to move a market and have a great reputation.
Okay.
And it was, a decision from Marjan, RAC Tourism, and RAC Hospitality, who's our partner. Who is the best? Who do we think is the real great fit for us? And that's where we thought that Wynn Resorts and what they do and what they're known for, their reputation, the number of 5 stars that they have from Forbes, for example, their guest experience, their revenue that they're able to generate through their properties was really interesting to us. And we wanted it to be a game changer for Ras Al Khaimah. It's proving to be that way. And we wanted to put Ras Al Khaimah on a separate path, on a new path, on an independent path for tourism, for hospitality, for visitor growth, and ultimately population and business opportunity for the citizens and the residents here. So that really is where it started.
And I heard that Wynn Resort, the one that will be here, will be the biggest branch of all the branches all over the world. Is that correct?
That you're not really. If I can fine tune that. So, where Wynn Resorts basically has 4 properties existing.
Okay.
They have one in Las Vegas, which is actually 2 properties, Wynn and Wynn Encore. They also have one in Boston, and they have 2 in Macau, an original and a new one, which is called Wynn Palace. So this is going to be, so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you count Vegas as one property, which it is actually, it's 4 locations, 4 properties. So this will be their 5th one. Okay. Now, to answer your question, that comment that was made that everyone's picked up on, it's not the biggest in terms of rooms. We only have 15, not only, it's a huge number, 1,542 keys. Okay. They have hotels with more keys than that, hotel rooms. What is that the gaming area, because we're going to be doing the same things that Wynn is doing in Las Vegas. That gaming area, that carpeted area, is more than 200,000 square feet, more than that, which is 50% bigger than the one they have in Las Vegas.
Nice.
So, this was something that we wanted to do as part of the design. We did the numbers. Wynn did the numbers. They lead the design for us. We trust them 100%. And they're able to really study their product and the region and make those decisions with us. And really, it enables us to really fill up the hotels, fill up the residences, fill up the units that are all being planned on Marjan Island and in the surrounding area.
Very nice. As far as I know, that Ras Al Khaimah airport has direct flights from Russia. Is Wynn Resort and Marjan Island will affect the growth also of the airport? Is there any plan to do an expansion for the airport?
So that's also a very good question. Everyone always asks about that. We have a huge infrastructure plan.
Okay.
There's going to be a new bridge to Wynn Island, new direct access, new direct roads. And there will be a uplift of the airport that we have. So our airport already can land A380s, and I believe Emirates is a test. They test planes and use that runway. So we know we have the space, and there is a journey for us to expand and refurbish the airport that we have. So hopefully that will be announced soon, but it is part of our plan.
Nice.
And it'll be for international flights. It will not compete with the large airports that we have around us, Abu Dhabi and Dubai and so forth. We're complementing them. So really what I would like to think and hope that what that airport looks like is a boutique experience.
Yeah.
Is that nice?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that it's going to be a luxury experience, but a boutique experience where you can get in and out fairly quickly, even though the other airports are excellent. And we're 45 minutes from Dubai International Airport, and you can get from the plane to our hotels on Marjan Island in, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes if you're a resident and you know how to kind of walk fast. But our airport is 15-20 minutes, and it is there, but it will be expanded, and it will be able to handle millions of people.
Okay, thank you.
So, but I stress the word boutique. I think that's just a really nice experience for an airport to not to have a mass transit experience, but something that's a little bit more welcoming, inviting. I think that would be my hope for the airport.
Of course, we trust you and we trust your team to do that.
Well, it's not with Marjan, it's with others, but I've seen what the conversations are like. So I'm hoping that there will be some really good announcements around that.
Can you please tell me who are the targeted audience who will be visiting this resort? Is it the residents here, or are we talking about 5 million from tourists are coming to this resort?
That's a very good question. So our calculation for the 5 million is just our number and includes everyone. So there's residents of Ras Al Khaimah, which will be a small number.
Yeah.
But the number of residents from the other Emirates can actually be quite large. We have not calculated in the 5 million, because people ask me all the time about this number, but in the 5 million we only have it like 10% of the 5 million, so only 500,000. So there's 10 million people in the country. So sometimes I ask people, like, what percentage do you think of Dubai residents will come and visit the property at least once per year? And I said 10%. And people think I'm crazy. They think like, no, it's going to be everybody. I said, no, that's impossible. So a lot of people say 30, 40%, 50%. For me, I have not assumed that. In our research and in our models, we're very conservative. So, 5 million is a fair number that we think that we can achieve. But the point is taken. I keep hearing from everyone that so many people will come from other Emirates that are residents. And if that happens, then that number will actually be much higher. If you look at a Wynn Resort, they're between, in Boston, they're at like 8 million. If in China, it's like 13 million. In Vegas, it's like 12 point something million. So, theoretically, in 1 year, you could reach, 10 million, I suppose. But that is a scary number, to go from 1.2 million overnight visitors to 10 million visitors in such a short amount of time.
Actually, it wouldn't surprise me, because the growth of the UAE is very fast. It's one of the fastest.
Yes, that's true.
Countries all over the world. Like I don't think there is any other country can compete with the UAE so far. And
in many
also,
ways I agree, yes.
Yeah, and so far, like, whenever, for the people who live in Dubai, whenever we want to escape from the city life, we come to Ras Al Khaimah.
Yes,
and
yes.
we're talking about millions of people. We're
Yes,
not talking
yes.
about a small number.
Yes.
So these people, I think they will be even more than 5 million.
Yes, yes.
So I think you're just trying to not overpromise
Yes.
us, but I believe this the 5 million is the minimum amount of people that will be
So the 5
visiting.
million number was the target we did when we were doing the deal with Wynn.
Okay.
This was pre all the investment, and we knew that there would be investment. We knew that
Okay.
there would be a game-changing event, but the amount of energy and the feedback that we have, you may be very well. Well, wait, I hope I'm here to see it.
Okay. Can we talk about the Airbnb and the
Yes.
short term?
Yes.
So far, from the numbers that I saw,
Yes.
the occupancy rate is exceeding 70% for
Yes.
the properties that are ready now.
Yes.
What do we think about the properties when Wynn Resort is there? Do
Okay.
you think the
so-
occupancy rate would exceed
so,
the 90%?
I'm going to take my time in answering this question.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Yeah. So it's clear, and I want to use specific numbers so it's accurate also. Currently, Marjan Island has about 78, the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah has about 7,800 hotel keys.
Okay.
Okay. That's in the Emirate. If you take our number of the 5 million and assume 3 point something million are overnight by 2030,
Okay.
we need a lot more hotels,
Yes.
because that will only, and that 3 million to 5 million, the growth to 5 million by 2030, and 3 million something, 3.5 million will be overnight. Those people will have to stay in a hotel or an Airbnb or something. So if we're at 7,800 now, we need more than 22 to 24,000.
Actually, this is what I always say for the clients.
This
like,
is yes.
It's not even gonna be enough.
It's not going to be enough. So
Yeah.
Collier says you can see the report online with
Yeah.
Collier's, they're over 22,000. So we have almost 8,000 already, and we're growing every year as these hotels open. But the number of hotels that we have are only about 7,000. So that takes us to about 15 if all the existing hotels open. So we're still short about 7,000 hotel keys, which will really push the units, the residences that are to be developed. Then it's going to be really, really attractive to have those become Airbnbs and short-term, mid-term, long-term rentals. That's not even the impact on residential. So that's the hospitality side. But, and we haven't even talked about the population. The population of Ras Al Khaimah right now is about 400,000.
Okay.
Even if we assume a normal growth rate is like 2.5 to 3% annual growth. If that moves where we think it will, based on all the jobs created and all the projects coming and all the staff that are here and the housing they need and the education and the food and the entertainment, all of these things coming together, you'll see that number of the population, the growth rate, be about 5%, let's say. That by 2030 means we're going to go from 400,000 to 600,000 people. Okay. And even if you take 10-20% and say that they're going to be staff housing for hotels and hospitals and resorts and those things, and laborers and so forth, you're still going to have about 550,000. So even if you put 4 people, so from 400 to 550, even if you put 4 people per household as a number, you're still talking about needing, depends who you study, but up to about 40,000 residential units are required in Ras Al Khaimah to meet all of this demand by 2030.
Actually, this is what I always say to my clients. Like when we look at Al Marjan Island, it's not a big island.
It's not a big island.
It's not going to be enough for the visitors for this resort.
That's right.
That's why also there are other islands and other areas are being constructed.
That's right.
But I think even Ras Al Khaimah, the whole Ras Al Khaimah, it's not going to be enough for the visitors of this resort.
Yes.
Plus, because it's full of nature, so the combination between this resort and the nature will make, I think, Ras Al Khaimah the first destination for anyone who want to come to the UAE. Mr. Tariq, can you please tell me if Al Marjan Island is the right place if the people want to live long term, like it's not Airbnb or holiday homes? Do you think there will be a residence inside Al Marjan Island?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that type of resident would have to understand that it is a leisure destination. So it would be something like living on the Palm, or living in JBR or in Dubai Marina, or living in downtown. So it's many things for different people. But absolutely, I believe so. There are other master plans also that are in Ras Al Khaimah that are up and coming and have been there for a while, that also focus on residences. And we need those residences because, like I said, the population is going to grow by about 50%. We'll go from about 400,000 to over 600,000, depending on which report you read. And we're going to need those needs. So, you know, we're venturing into tourism and the Wynn Resort, not because we just want to build a hotel. It's for people. It's for visitorship. When visitors come, they need a place to stay. So when they come and they stay, we need more hotels. We need more outlets, more retail, more F&B. All of them will be staffed with staff. So those people, those staff need a place to stay. A lot of them will be managers. Some of them won't, but a lot of them will be managers. They will bring their families. So when they bring their families, we will need schools. We will need healthcare. We will need retail. So all of these other real estate asset classes are important to have a full, you know, ecosystem to which we have now, but we need more of it. So we you know, retail, there's a demand. Office, there's a demand. We can talk about Rack Central, which is one of our master plans. Hospitality, there's a demand. And all of these will be filled. At the end of the day, it's people. Then, you know, people who want to come and work and grow their careers, have a good life, enjoy themselves at the property. The Wynn Resort allows us to do that because of the people that it brings to the Emirate in terms of its offering. We are planning on building the best integrated resort that's been built, and even by Wynn themselves. They put this target on themselves. You know, in the budget, the construction budget, as you can see, is $3.9 billion. That's not something small. Not every day people spend that. So it's also one of the largest, or the largest foreign direct investment. It's one of the largest hospitality assets. The built-up area is about 5.5 million square feet. It's about 500,000 square feet bigger than the Burj Khalifa. So this is a very big game changer for us. It's a catalyst, an economic catalyst that will impact everyone's life. Visitors, which will lead to hotels, which will lead to construction, which will lead to jobs, which will lead to people, which will lead to more residences, more villas, more townhomes, more schools, more shopping, more healthcare, the airport, the roads, beautification, bridges, or a bridge at this point that we're announcing, new master plans. So all of this is there, and the demand is going to be overwhelming. So we need everyone. You know, we need everyone as a partner. More schools, more everything. So whether it's a master developer, you know, and what we're doing, or a hotel operator, or staff, or an end unit investor, they're all the end user investor is actually fueling all of the projects. Because they give their money to the developer builds. So we need everybody do their part in the ecosystem.
Nice. So we're talking about huge job opportunities for people from now to 2030.
Well, our study is until 2030, but it could be beyond that. But that's where we think. So 2027 is when we're planning the resort to open, in early 2027. That year will be the biggest year jump. Usually when you have a hospitality asset, you start slow and it grows, you know, it takes 3 years to stabilize for the hotel to kind of fill up and get its marketing and get a strong following. When an integrated resort opens of this size and scale, it really is a open full. and the first year could be the biggest growth and the biggest number of people, because people want to come and have to see it. So it's a really, 2027 is the big step up for us.
Okay, and we're talking also the job opportunities. It's not only by Wynn Resort. Like when we're talking about new schools, new hospitals.
Yes.
We're talking about a huge niche of people from everywhere: teachers, doctors, waiters.
So we have, for example, I can talk to you about Rack Central. Rack Central is our latest master plan that we announced.
Okay.
It is approximately 3 million square feet. And it's about, I think about 9 million built up area GFA. And we're developing a office product there, grade A office. It's like what you would see in other Emirates, and surrounded by hospitality and around 30 residential towers. A lot of those towers have already been sold, and some of the developers are getting ready to launch that product. But for us, we need that office space, grade A office space, LEED Gold certified is the target, because we're being asked by so many businesses that want to come and move to Ras Al Khaimah, and we just don't have any more real office space for them. And they want to be in this part of town, near Marjan, near Al Hamra, near Mina, Al Arab, and that's where kind of the future is. So we see an office as also being a catalyst for what you're saying regarding jobs, whether we've been approached by banks, architecture firms, engineering firms, consultancies, travel, a lot of different industries that are ready to jump in, understanding that they have to service this market. Because, you think, the jobs are just going to be at Wynn. Well, there's all the other hotels, and then there's construction, and then there's servicing, and then there's education, and then again there's hospitality, and then there are all the other consultancy, there's food, there's logistics, there's warehousing. So we have a lot of these things already. We have all of them, but when you have this jump in population and visitorship, all of that starts to compound, and we refer to that as basically induced demand. The demand creates demand. Because when we build that school, we have to bring teachers. Right? So when you have those teachers need housing.
Of course.
And then, so everything starts to compound and grow quite rapidly. So we're just at the beginning of that journey.
Nice. Can you tell me how is it going to affect the real estate market?
That's a very good question. It's hard to say exactly, but right now we see gaps in the market, and the demand will be outstripping supply for some time to come. Because it's a lot easier for someone to come visit us or to say, I want to move to Ras Al Khaimah and give me an apartment or show me a house. But it takes 4 years to build. It takes 3 years to build. So even if the demand surges, by the time a project is designed and construction gets going and construction gets finished, it takes so much time and effort that there definitely will be a lag for years to come. And actually building real estate and building a hotel is not easy. There's financing, there's contractors, there's logistics, there's design. So the surge will be there, and we'll see how fast the market can respond in terms of developing and delivering, the real estate product.
Mr. Tariq,
yes.
I received this question many times. What's Wynn Resort? What's inside this resort? Why all of the investors, when we mention Wynn Resort, they really want to invest in the same area? What makes it so special?
So I think people know that an integrated resort of this size is capable of doing a lot of things.
Okay.
The visitors that come. And the question should be, why do visitors want to come to a Wynn Resort or a large integrated resort, and Wynn in this particular case? So, in our example or in our property, it's over 1,500 hotel keys. So by that alone, you're talking about a very, very large scale, which will basically accommodate 800,000-900,000 people a year.
Okay.
In our property, there is going to be, which is, everyone always talks about, is a very large gaming area. So you're going to have thousands of people enjoying, an activity that hasn't been done in the region. Let's be honest. And Wynn Resorts delivers that to them, that entertainment to them. There also will be a theater, There will be over 20 restaurants, top-end restaurants, more than 40 luxury shops. So if you haven't been to a Wynn Resort, you should go see, Wynn Palace or Wynn in Las Vegas. And you can, it's an integrated resort. So that means, there's so many different attributes that are all brought together to bring this delightful experience. So you don't have to leave for 4, 5, 6 days, and you just enjoy yourself. So you make up in the morning, you go to a spa, you go to the pool, you go have lunch, you can go to the gaming floor in the afternoon, you have a great dinner, you see a show. It's just, when you're there and you're surrounded by wonderful colors and art and style.
The beach.
And they do it really, really well. They do it really, really well. And I think their founder, Steve Wynn, was able to deliver that early. And he's a legend in his own right. And he started in Las Vegas decades and decades ago. It's not just Wynn Resorts that is the Wynn Resorts that he's known for, but also the Bellagio, which was really the first integrated resort, $1 billion plus resort that just wowed everyone with the shows and the fountain, all of these great things that he's known for.
Okay.
So the goal is, it's going to delight millions of people. And we're working with Wynn Resorts because we know that they can deliver that promise, and it will be a must-see property.
So I think whoever want to go to Wynn Resort, one night will not be enough for them to stay there.
It won't be enough. It won't be inexpensive, but it would not be enough. And you're going to see one of the most amazing properties on the planet when it's open.
Okay. Since you mentioned expensive.
Yes.
What is the audience financial wise? Like, what are the type of the people will go there? Are we talking about luxury prices and everything, or the people who has normal salaries here can afford going to Wynn Resort?
It's subjective.
Okay.
It is a luxury. It is a luxury hotel. It is a 5-star luxury hotel.
Okay.
And if you do the numbers, we're spending millions of dollars per hotel room. So if you take our budget and you divide it by the number of keys, you end up with over $2 million per key, which shows you to the extent and detail that we're going through.
Wow.
So I think everyone should be able to come and enjoy it, at least walk around or have a show. You don't have to stay there to enter the property. So everyone.
So you can
go and
you can
visit. Yeah, you can visit the all of the different. It's an integrated resort, so you don't necessarily have to stay there to enjoy. You can partake in everything, basically.
Okay. So that's why also the real estate opportunities around the area are very good opportunities at the moment, because anyone who's staying in the apartments next to the resort, they can enjoy all these facilities.
So if you take 1,500 keys and you just do the numbers and you do 2 per room as an average, 80% occupancy, which is high, but let's just use that as a number.
It's the current number actually.
Here.
Yeah.
365 days a year.
Yeah.
You only reach like 900,000 people. So if you have 3.5 million overnight, you still have 2.5 million people who need a place to stay.
Yeah.
And right now our hotels are kind of full, and we're at 1.2. So that's already from like 2.5 to 1.2. That's 1.3 million that will need a place to stay, which is why I'm saying we need all of these extra thousands of hotel keys and units in our future. And that's not even talking about the population growth. That's just what's needed for visitors.
Okay. Actually, I have a very interesting question that I also receive. What scares the people is traffic.
Yes.
Traffic is a huge problem for people.
Yes.
And since we're talking about this huge number will be visiting the Wynn Resort.
Yes.
What's the traffic situation is going to be?
So we are now building a bridge that will connect the island. We call it Island 3, but it's where the Wynn Resort is located, directly to the coast, so you don't have to enter the main entrance of Al Marjan Island. There'll be a second point, which will be the bridge connecting Al Marjan Island to the coast, and that will continue all the way to 311 and I believe 611.
Okay.
So there'll be new avenues of entering into Ras Al Khaimah. So we're planning for it.
Okay, so we're not expecting to have like a huge traffic like Dubai.
I think, look, I can't make promises.
Okay.
Because you're saying already 10 million people will come,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you 5. So there will be traffic at times, like New Year's.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be those days where you should expect traffic, I'm assuming. I don't know. But I think with the plan that we have, it's sufficient. It's not like we're waiting for traffic and then we're doing something.
Okay.
We're being proactive based on our, best of our abilities. But this is handled by like our, development team, Ras Al Khaimah municipality, the leadership, the government. There's an overall master plan where all of these infrastructure points are being addressed. I'm not just talking about Al Marjan Island.
Okay.
It's the points to Marjan Island and how you gain access on this new bridge to the Wynn Resort.
Mr. Tariq, what last message would you give to our audience, considering that they may be employees, real estate investors, or tourists?
I think just the future is very bright for Ras Al Khaimah.
Okay.
It's a journey that I'm proud to be part of, and it's a very meaningful journey also.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that are being planned that are not in the market yet that we're working on.
Okay.
Whether it's real estate projects, new master plans, new beachfront destinations, Rack Central office destination, investment in the airport. All of these things are the foundation for making this emirate thrive. And, I'd like to see more and more people live here and, help Ras Al Khaimah chart its own path, its own journey.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Tariq, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us this opportunity to meet you and to know more about Ras Al Khaimah and the projects happening in Ras Al Khaimah. I believe a lot of people, they really want someone from Ras Al Khaimah itself to speak about it, because they can see a lot of things online, but you cannot believe everything. So actually it was an honor to have you today with us. Me and my team are so happy to meet you in person and to have this lovely conversation with you.
My pleasure. Anytime.